Welcome back to the Random Mountain Bikers. Today we're looking at two XC/hardtail mountain bikes. The first one is the Trek Marlin 5. With 100 millimeters of suspension travel, it's pretty bare bones for a bike. Now this one and the other one have both been upgraded, which we will go into detail in the later part of the video. Now to look at the Trek Marlin 5 in depth. The first thing to look at is a drivetrain. Now this drivetrain is a 3x7. Now in some ways that's good, in some ways it's bad. Now the thing is this one comes with a set, but that's because I broke the rear hub and I had to get a whole new wheel set. So now it has a cassette. The stock version comes with a free hub, and let me just say, they're pretty hard to use. The other thing is the front chainring tends to always come off, and I know that's just because it's not a narrow by wide. And yes, they have been known to fall off, but if you do a major upgrade, don't do it. You might as well just save up the extra money to buy a new mountain bike. Now, just saying, this is a perfect bike to start on. Now, there are other bikes out there that look very tempting. Now, this one does have its advantages. Now, this one did get a new derailleur. That's because I had a bad crash. But beside the point, yeah, it's a really good bike. It's been to Whistler, and it's been to many other places to ride. I've also ridden Black Diamond jumps, and it's held up just fine. The next thing to look at is the brakes. Now, these brakes come with hydraulic disc brakes. Now, I have broken a pair of pads, and yes, that is kind of what I do. But overall, these brakes have surprisingly held up. Now, I haven't had to replace the brake pads or anything yet, other than your routine maintenance, which I'm pretty sure they did. But otherwise, I really haven't needed to upgrade or fix these. They are 2-piston brakes, and don't get me wrong, they are Tektro. I'm not a big fan of them, but they have held up. I would prefer, if you wanted to upgrade them to 2-piston. But if you're a heavier rider, go to 4-piston. I would recommend either Magura, SRAM, or Shimano brakes. I don't really prefer the Tektro, but it's just my kind of personality. The next bike we're looking at is the Norco Storm 7.3. Now this bike is basically exactly the same to the Trek Marlin 5. They both have 27.5 wheels, 100 millimeters of suspension travel, but the drivetrain is different. They're both Shimano, but the Norco Storm comes with a 3x8. And that's quite an upgrade because, well, you get a more wide range gearing ratio. Now it does come with a 3 in the front, which is controversial, but we won't get into that right now. But otherwise, let's take a closer look at this bike. The first part we're going to look at is the drivetrain. Now, this one does come stock with a dork disc, which either you can take it off or you can cut it off like most other humans. Now, this one does come with the 3x8, like I said, and it comes with a Shimano TX. Now, if you really are a nerd, you would know all this stupid gearing ratio, and I'm not really interested to saying that. So, this is a Shimano turning TX, and, well, it has held up. You can see the chainstay has seen better days, and chain slap has been a regular problem. But this bike is pretty good and comes with basically the same parts. The next part is the brakes. Now, the brakes are, yes, Tektro, and they're exactly the same as the Trek Marlin 5. Now, there hasn't been any problems with this one, and if you do want to upgrade them, you can upgrade them, and it's not that hard. You just look online. But otherwise, there's been no problems. So if you're a heavier rider, remember, maybe 4-piston, but these come 2-piston stock. Now we're looking at upgrades. Now, some of the upgrades that have been done is the rear derailleur and a few parts like a derailleur hanger and rear wheel. Now, the rear wheel has been relatively good, and I haven't had any complaints. I have had a few pinch flats, and otherwise, I've really not upgraded much. I have, however, upgraded basically nothing. Yeah. I did actually upgrade the rear wheel from an Bontrager XR2 to an Bontrager XR2 Comp, which is a little bit wider than the previous one. Now I have no complaints, and they feel exactly the same. Now, the one thing I have added is a mud flap to the front fork. And, well, many people would like to call it a mud flap. I really don't know what you call them. I just said it because that's what people have told me it is. But to me, it makes the bike look really mean. And that's kind of what I was looking for in this. The next bike we're looking at is the worst bike we have. The Norco Costco bike, which I'm not going to go into depth, and if you want to look at it, just go to Costco.ca and you will regret every second of it. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and if you want to see another video like this, like and subscribe, and it'll support the channel. Also, if you see something else you noticed about the bikes, leave it in the comment section below. Now, I would say these bikes are both a tie, but if you want a more playful bike, go for the Trek Marlin 5. If you want more of a stable and rockier mountain bike, go for the Norco Storm 7.3. The Trek Marlin 5 does pump better, but the Norco Storm does beat it in other areas. Alright, thanks guys for watching. I'll see you next time.